Good day everyone. In today's video, I am going to show to you the top 10 strongest typhoons in the Philippines. In the Philippines, nothing is as certain as the arrival of a typhoon. It's not a matter of if but when. These typhoons cause damage that cost billions of pesos, claim thousands of lives, and leave a permanent imprint on the minds of the survivors. But before anything else, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and tap the notification bell for more updates. Thank you so much. Now let's go. Here are the top 10 strongest typhoons in the Philippines. The top 10 strongest typhoons in the Philippines. The storms on this list are qualified and ranked in terms of destructiveness or the cost of damage. First in the list is Typhoon Yolanda. International name: Haiyan. Year: 2013. Wind speed: 315 km per hour. Rainfall: 281.9 millimeters. Death toll: 6,300. Damage: Philippine peso 95.5 billion, with a death toll of around 6,300 people and damage worth 95.5 billion pesos. Typhoon Yolanda claims the first spot among the top 10 strongest typhoons in the Philippines. No one can ever forget this 2013 disaster. The aerial images of towns leveled to the ground are forever burned into Filipinos' minds. Storm surges devastated many places such as Tacloban City. Waves measuring up to 19 feet destroyed buildings, knocked over trees, and carried cars away. A lot of people were caught off guard, resulting in injuries and fatalities. Rescue operations were delayed since towns and villages were completely cut off. Affected areas went without power for weeks. Second spot is Typhoon Odette with international name: Rai. Year: 2021. Wind speed: 280 km per hour. Rainfall: 272.1 millimeters. Death toll: 409. Damage: Philippine peso 51.8 billion. In December 2021, Typhoon Odette ravaged the Philippines, particularly the provinces of Visayas and Mindanao. The typhoon severely affected more than 9 million people. Two of the worst-hit areas were Bohol and Surigao City. A haunting image of this storm's aftermath shows knocked-down coconut trees and the wrecked Cloud9 boardwalk in Siargao. Meanwhile, rivers overflowed in Cagayan de Oro, causing floods across the city. Typhoon Odette was the strongest storm to hit Mindanao in 10 years. Third spot is Typhoon Pablo with international name: Bofa. Year: 2012. Wind speed: 280 km per hour. Rainfall: 240 millimeters. Death toll: 1,901. Damage: Philippine peso 43.2 billion. Known internationally as Bofa, Typhoon Pablo was once considered the strongest tropical cyclone to ever hit Mindanao. This 2012 typhoon made landfall in 3 separate locations: northern Mindanao, central Visayas, and Palawan. Typhoon Pablo caused landslides and power outages when it hit the central and southern regions of Mindanao. The disaster claimed more than 1,900 lives, affected around 6 million people, and damaged over 200,000 houses. All these made the cyclone one of the top 10 deadliest typhoons in the Philippines. Fourth strongest is Typhoon Glenda with international name: Racso. Year: 2014. Wind speed: 260 km per hour. Rainfall: 200 millimeters. Death toll: 225. Damage: Philippine peso 38.6 billion. Coming in at the 4th spot of the top 10 deadliest typhoons in the Philippines, Glenda ravaged the country, particularly Luzon and some parts of Visayas. In 2014, with a wind speed of 260 km per hour and a rainfall volume of 200 millimeters, this typhoon claimed lives and caused damage amounting to over Philippine peso 38 billion. Before its onslaught, Typhoon Glenda was expected to bring storm surges of up to 9 feet. In Metro Manila, at least 90% of total residents experienced power outages. Fifth spot is Typhoon Ompong with international name: Mangkhut. Year: 2018. Wind speed: 285 km per hour. Rainfall: 300 millimeters. Death toll: 134. Damage: Philippine peso 33.9 billion. In 2018, Typhoon Ompong barreled through the northern part of the Philippines. It brought flash floods, landslides, and storm surges. It displaced more than 270,000 people in regions I, II, III, Cordillera Administrative Region CAR, and the National Capital Region NCR. 2. As it traversed the Luzon Mountains, Typhoon Ampon weakened until it landed on the West Philippine Sea. Outside the country, the typhoon affected Malaysia, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, and mainland China. 6th spot is Typhoon Pepeng with international name. Parma. Year 2009. Wind speed 250 km per hour. Rainfall 700 millimeters. Death toll 465. Damage Philippine peso 27.3 billion. The year 2009 was an unforgettable period for many Filipinos in Luzon. It was the year Typhoon Mondo caused massive flooding in many locations such as Metro Manila. But merely a few days after this disaster, another typhoon named Pepeng wreaked havoc in the country. Pepeng furthered the damage left by Mondo and affected thousands of families in the northern part of Luzon, particularly in Pangasinan. It even interacted with an incoming typhoon named Quidin, internationally known as Melor. A few days after, the weakened storm made its way back to Luzon, hitting the provinces of Ilocos Norte and Cagayan, with a death toll of 465 people and damage worth Philippine peso 27.3 billion. Pepeng is one of the top 10 deadliest typhoons in the Philippines. 7th spot is Typhoon Ulysses with international name. Vamco. Year 2020. Wind speed 215 km per hour. Rainfall between 228.6 millimeters and 304.8 millimeters. Death toll 102. Damage Philippine peso 20.2 billion. A deadly storm in the midst of a deadly global pandemic. Yes, it happened in 2020. Enter Typhoon Ulysses. Aside from strong wind gusts, Ulysses brought heavy rains, even causing the worst flooding in Metro Manila since Typhoon Mondo in 2009. Water rose quickly even in areas not considered flood-prone. Typhoon Ulysses also caused dams in Luzon to reach their spilling points. To avoid dam failure, authorities released water from the dam, which led to widespread floods in various provinces. 8th spot is Typhoon Rolly with international name. Goni. Year 2020. Wind speed 315 km per hour. Rainfall between 230 millimeters and 300 millimeters. Death toll 32. Damage Philippine peso 20 billion. Another typhoon that appeared during the pandemic in 2020. Rolly started out as a tropical depression in the southern part of Guam. However, it developed into a super typhoon as it entered the Philippines. It brought sustained winds of 315 km per hour, making it one of the top 10 strongest typhoons in the Philippines. Dickel was badly hit with flash floods and power outages. Typhoon Rolly caused 32 fatalities and left more than Philippine peso 20 billion worth of damage. 9th spot is severe tropical storm Paeng with international name. Nalgi. Year 2022. Wind speed 100 km per hour. Rainfall more than 450 m. Death toll 160. Damage Philippine peso 17.6 billion. In 2022, Typhoon Paeng ravaged the country. Although the area of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao was not directly in Paeng's path, many locals died due to flooding and landslides. Residents were swept away in swollen rivers and buried under rubble. Provinces in western Visayas such as Iloilo, Capiz, Aklan, and Negros Occidental, where floods rose as high as rooftops, were also badly hit by Paeng. The sheer force of the rain caused collapsed infrastructure, landslides, and mudslides as the number of fatalities continued to rise. 10th spot is Typhoon Pedring with international name. Nesat. Year 2011. Wind speed 215 km per hour. Rainfall more than 350 millimeters. Death toll 98. Damage Philippine peso 15.6 billion. Typhoon Pedring, which came exactly 2 years after Typhoon Mondo made its landfall in the country, is considered one of the top 10 strongest typhoons in the Philippines. Luzon was mainly affected, with visible devastations in Metro Manila, Albay, Ilocos Norte, Isabela, Pangasinan, Catanduanes, Batangas, Cavite, and Pampanga, among others. Typhoon Pedring also caused flash floods and produced strong winds that destroyed structures and cut power. Typhoon Pedring was one of the twin typhoons that barreled through the Philippines within 1 week in September 2011. These top 10 strongest typhoons in the Philippines were unstoppable forces of nature that damaged properties and claimed lives. As such, it's important to prepare yourself as much as possible. Above all, pray, as prayer is powerful than anything else. And don't forget to prepare DIY rainy season kits. Keep safety tips when driving during the rainy season in mind, and heed the authorities' calls for evacuation when the need arises. Thank you so much for watching. God bless us all.